The year was 1929. America was riding high. The roaring 20s were in full swing. Jazz filled the air, flapper dresses twirled, and the stock market soared to dizzying heights. But this exuberance masked a dangerous reality. An economic bubble built on speculation and shaky foundations. Then, in October 1929, the bubble burst. The stock market crashed, wiping out billions of dollars in wealth. The crash sent shockwaves through the American economy, ushering in the darkest chapter in its financial history, the Great Depression. This cataclysmic event would forever alter the nation's psyche, leaving an indelible mark on its people and its future. The 1920s, a decade of unprecedented prosperity and cultural dynamism, sowed the seeds for the 1929 crash. The end of World War I brought a surge in consumer spending, fueled by new technologies like automobiles and radios. Mass production techniques increased efficiency and profits but also led to overproduction in certain industries. Easy credit policies encouraged consumers to buy now and pay later, leading to a dangerous buildup of personal debt. The stock market, reflecting this economic boom, attracted millions of new investors, many with little understanding of financial markets. Unregulated and fueled by speculation, the stage was set for disaster. By the late 1920s, the stock market had become detached from economic reality. Speculation ran rampant, with investors buying stocks not based on their underlying value, but on the expectation of selling them quickly for a profit. The practice of buying on margin, where investors borrowed heavily to purchase stocks, magnified both profits and potential losses. Stock prices soared to unsustainable levels, creating an illusion of wealth. Companies with little to no earnings saw their stock prices skyrocket, driven by hype and rumors. This speculative frenzy created a house of cards, poised to collapse at the slightest tremor. On October 24, 1929, now known as Black Thursday, the stock market began its precipitous descent. As investors panicked and rushed to sell, stock prices plunged, wiping out billions of dollars in value. The following Monday, a brief respite offered a glimmer of hope, but it was short-lived. On Tuesday, October 29th, Black Tuesday, the market crashed with even greater ferocity. Millions of shares were traded in a frenzy of selling, but there were few buyers. Stock prices plummeted to a fraction of their former values. The ticker tape, unable to keep up with the volume of trades, ran hours behind, adding to the chaos and confusion. Section 5. Echoes of collapse panic grips the nation. The stock market crash sent shockwaves throughout the American economy. Banks, heavily invested in the market, suffered massive losses and began to fail. Depositors, fearing for their savings, rushed to withdraw their money, triggering bank runs across the nation. With banks collapsing and credit drying up, businesses were unable to secure the loans they needed to operate. Factories closed, businesses failed, and unemployment soared. Consumer spending plummeted, further deepening the economic crisis. Section 6. The Great Depression, a decade of despair. The 1929 stock market crash marked the beginning of the Great Depression, a catastrophic event that sent shockwaves through the global economy. It was the most severe economic downturn in modern history, affecting not just the United States but countries around the world. The Depression gripped the nation for a decade, causing widespread despair and uncertainty. Millions of people found themselves unemployed, homeless, and hungry. Bread lines stretched for blocks, a stark reminder of the desperation that had taken hold. Shantytowns, known as Hoovervilles, sprang up across the country, named derisively after President Herbert Hoover, who was blamed for the crisis. Families struggled to survive, often relying on each other and their communities for support. The Dust Bowl, a severe drought that devastated the Midwest, added to the misery, turning fertile land into a barren wasteland. Thousands of farmers were forced to abandon their land and seek a better life elsewhere, often heading west in search of new opportunities. The Great Depression was a time of immense hardship, testing the limits of human endurance and spirit. Despite the overwhelming challenges, the resilience of the American people shone through. Communities banded together, and individuals found ways to persevere. The Great Depression left an enduring mark on the nation's social fabric, reshaping society and influencing future generations. Its legacy is a testament to the strength and resilience of those who lived through it. Section 7. Lessons from the Abyss. regulation and understanding. The 1929 crash and the ensuing Great Depression taught the world painful lessons about the importance of financial regulation and the need for a deeper understanding of market dynamics. The stock market crash was not just a financial disaster, it was a social and economic catastrophe that affected millions of lives. People lost their life savings, businesses went bankrupt, and unemployment soared to unprecedented levels. The lack of a safety net and the absence of regulatory oversight exacerbated the situation, leading to widespread poverty and despair. The lack of regulations in the 1920s, coupled with rampant speculation and excessive leverage, created an environment ripe for disaster. Investors were borrowing money to buy stocks, a practice known as buying on margin, which inflated stock prices to unsustainable levels. When the market began to falter, panic set in, and the bubble burst, leading to a cascade of financial failures. The speculative frenzy of the Roaring Twenties was a ticking time bomb that eventually exploded, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. In response to the crisis, the United States government implemented a series of reforms aimed at preventing a repeat of the 1929 crash. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his administration took bold steps to restore confidence in the financial system. These reforms were part of the New Deal, a comprehensive set of economic measures designed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. The goal was to stabilize the economy, create jobs, and protect consumers and investors from future financial calamities. These reforms included the creation of the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to regulate the stock market. The SEC was established to enforce laws against market manipulation and fraud, ensuring that investors received accurate and complete information. By overseeing the securities industry, the SEC aimed to restore trust in the financial markets and prevent the kind of reckless behavior that had led to the crash. The establishment of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, to ensure bank deposits was another crucial reform. The FDIC provided a safety net for bank customers, guaranteeing their deposits up to a certain amount. This measure helped to prevent bank runs, where panicked customers would withdraw their money en masse, leading to bank failures. By ensuring deposits, the FDIC restored confidence in the banking system and contributed to financial stability. The passage of the Glass-Steagall Act, which separated commercial and investment banking activities, was another significant reform. This legislation aimed to reduce the risk of financial speculation by preventing banks from engaging in both commercial lending and investment activities. By creating a clear distinction between these two types of banking, the Glass-Steagall Act sought to protect consumers and reduce the likelihood of future financial crises. These reforms collectively laid the foundation for a more stable and transparent financial system, ensuring that the lessons learned from the Great Depression would not be forgotten. Section 8, The Enduring Legacy, a Turning Point in History. The 1929 stock market crash stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of financial markets. It was a day that sent shockwaves across the globe, leading to a cascade of economic failures and personal tragedies. The crash didn't just affect the wealthy, it had far-reaching consequences that touched every corner of society. The devastating consequences of unchecked speculation became evident as banks failed, businesses closed, and millions of people lost their jobs. The panic and uncertainty of that time were palpable, as people scrambled to salvage what little they had left. It ushered in an era of government intervention in the economy. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal policies aimed to stabilize the economy and provide relief to those suffering. These measures marked a significant shift in the role of government, from a hands-off approach to active involvement in economic affairs. This period led to a fundamental reassessment of economic theory and policy. Economists and policymakers began to understand the importance of regulation and oversight to prevent such a catastrophe from happening again. The New Deal programs, including Social Security and unemployment insurance, laid the groundwork for the modern welfare state. The crash and the Great Depression that followed had a profound impact on American society, shaping the political landscape, influencing social programs, and altering the course of history. The images of breadlines and soup kitchens are stark reminders of the hardships faced by millions. These events left an indelible mark on the national psyche, fostering a sense of resilience and a demand for greater social safety nets. The political rallies and the enactment of social programs during this time reflect the changing attitudes towards government's role in society. The lessons learned from this tumultuous period continue to resonate today. Historians and economists study the 1929 crash to understand the complexities of financial markets and the importance of regulatory frameworks. Serving as a cautionary tale, the 1929 crash reminds us of the potential dangers of speculative bubbles and the need for vigilance in financial practices. It underscores the importance of responsible financial practices and sound economic policies. As we navigate the complexities of today's financial world, the echoes of 1929 serve as a guide, reminding us to learn from the past to build a more stable and equitable future.